We thank everybody for coming to our study on People of Color in the Bible, Volume 1, by Dr. William Emanuel, also known as Dr. E-Man, the Electric Man. As we go through this here, we see that we'll be studying preliminaries. That's what this is. We're just studying the preliminaries. We're trying to establish a foundation for understanding the ABCs of the Bible, the very basics. Nothing heavy we're talking about. We're talking about the basics, the ABCs. We're going to be looking at, this is going to be part 1 of the series that we're doing on the entire book, okay? And we're starting off in chapter 1. Now, anybody who wants to be part of this class, you can become part any time you want. You will need to be able to have the book or the ebook, People of Color in the Bible, so that you can follow along and study with the class. To get the ebook, please contact Dr. E-Man through his email, Emanuel@esnscorp.com. We're going to be looking at part 1 of chapter 1. We're going to be dealing with our first section is going to be Adam and the Garden of Eden. Now this POC, it stands for People of Color. You're going to be learning the real truth about the people of the Bible and their history. In this book that we're dealing with, People of Color in the Bible series, Volume 1, Preliminaries, establishing a foundation for understanding, again, the ABCs of the Bible. Nothing heavy. We're just going to be dealing with, as we start off with, what we'll call the introduction. Going into great detail on Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden. We're going to be starting that book. If you've been listening to the studies that we've had so far, you would have noticed that we had a, what do we call it? We were getting into the introduction. We finished the introduction. So now what we were getting ready to go into is, we figured everybody can read the intro. Everybody can read the prefix, which is good. And we'll put some of that stuff up online on YouTube. Now we're just going to get straight into the book. Try to cover a lot of information as much as we can within this short period of time that we have. Okay. The first chapter is dealing with Adam and the Garden of Eden. Now, everyone is familiar with Adam and Eve. And we know that we were created in the image of Yahweh. As we go through this book here, we're going to be using what we call the Bible. Usually the most, I've been using in here, the King James Bible. Unless I specify it otherwise, it'll be the King James Version of the Bible. We'll be looking also at what they call the Torah, first 5 books of the Bible. As well as we look at the history of Africa, Islamic, European, African-American, and Christian historian viewpoints that'll helpfully give us a more accurate understanding of what the Bible is saying. Now, the most important things that we need to understand of the Bible is a few things. The first thing is a knowledge of the people. We need to know the place of the people. And then we need to know the time frame that we're talking about. Okay, why are we interested in these 3 points? So remember, as we study through and as you read the Bible or read any literature, you should always look at these 3 points. Who are the people dealing with? What time frame are we dealing with? And at what location are we dealing with? Why? Why is that important? Well, that's important. In the introduction, he talks about these 3 things, which is vitally important. Because if we look at America and we look at today, we have some people who call themselves American citizens, okay? Then we have this other group of people who are called illegal aliens. Then we have this other group of people who are called Native Americans in concentration camps. Or as some might want to soften it to say, that they're on reservations. Same thing, concentration camps. So anyway, depending on what time frame we're talking about in America, these people change. We have these colonialists who are here who calls themselves the American citizens who are American citizens. They are, what do we call it, illegal aliens, okay? And then the illegal aliens who we pushed from Americans, so we pushed them into Mexico, run them out the country, pushed them into Canada, and now we said, okay, now we're going to take over, and now we're the true Americans, and if you try to come in, you're illegal alien. And if you don't try to come in and you try to stay on the land, then we're going to put you in concentration camp. So these are colonists or imperialists that have been ruling different parts of the world. The same thing has been done not just here in America, done in Africa, done in Haiti, it was done in Jamaica. So that's what we're talking about. So the important time is who are the true people of the time. And so that's why we always trying to find out people, the place, and the time. So if we go back to 1776, I guess we could say that the Europeans or the colonialists, yes, they are Americans. Yeah. Okay. But now if we go back 1,000 years or 2,000 years or 3,000 years, now the Europeans are not here, so since they're not here, but they might say, oh, we were here with the Vikings. Okay, whatever. Okay, but you didn't live here. You didn't stay here. But, okay, so when we're looking at this time frame, 2,000 years ago, now we're outside of the frame of European conquerization in the land. So the people that is at this place are the true Native Americans. And I heard that there were some, we'll go over some of that a little bit. There'll be some Africans who were here, which is what we call, the book Ivan Van Sertima. They came before Columbus. And when we go through these particular areas, we will be able to see that the location is important, the time is important, and who are the people that are there. Okay? So now when we're reading through the Bible, it's going to be the same thing. Because we're going to find out that people change the names of the people in different locations. So if I move from one location to another, instead of them still calling me African, guess what they're going to call me? They're not going to call me Africans anymore. They're going to call me another name. So as example would be that we had this in reference to the land of Kush. Kushite empire extended as far as India and China, okay? And that's where we have the Kush, the Hindu Kush Mountains. That lets you know that during that time frame, the Kushites ruled all the way to India and China. They even named the land after themselves, okay? So that's why it's important to know the time frame. So the reason why I remember that is because during the war, the Bush Wars, we were over there and we were conquering and we were wiping out Afghanis and all these different things that's going over there. That during the bombing, one of them mentioned that they were bombing the Hindu Kush Mountain. And I said, wait, wow, they're bombing what? The Hindu Kush Mountain? Ah, there it is. There's the evidence, the ancient name of the Kushites living and their empire extending as far as Afghanistan and India. So that's why it's important that we know which time frame we're talking about. The same thing when we start studying about the Bible, there's going to be lots of places that Abraham is moving, Abraham is moving, Isaac, Jacob, Moses. You're going to hear different names and it's going to be different people. And all the time when you look at our history that we're taught, his story, history is the story of the people who's writing it. And so when we're reading about his story, we're going to see him inserting himself into places where he did not belong. What these are the imperialists. These are people who are trying to manipulate and control time and space. So that's why I said we need to know the people, place, and the time frame, because it will change depending on what time we're talking about. Change to people. Okay, so when we look here, we find out that man, as we look at chart number 1, let's look at our first chart, figure 1, we know that Adam and Eve were created in the image of Elohim. So what we also have is his name. His name is not Adam. His name in Hebrew is pronounced Adam, Adham. So also in the words, the names of people are very important. When we looked at the last study that we were on, we found out that the key is the last few studies, because the few one before that, that the first thing they want to do is remove your name, your culture, and your thinking, so that you can just think about them. That's it. You can think about the society that you're in, and that's the culture you're going to have. So you're going to throw off all your other culture and only concentrate on the colonial powers culture. Okay, so when we go back, and since name sales are very important, and they changed Daniel's name to Belteshazzar, you had Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Those were their Babylonian names. Most people never even know what their real name was. Ananias, Mishael, and Azariah, that was their real name. Okay, so in the word Adam, A-D-H-A-M, what is the key word? Yes, simple, Ham, H-A-M. So therein, it will tell you some stories about what's really going on. Okay, Ham is a representation of what? One of Noah's children. Noah had Ham, Shem, and Japheth. And so we know that Shem is the descendants of more of the Asiatic people, I believe. That's what they say. You have to reinvestigate everybody's stuff. But to tell the truth, if Noah was an African, go back to Adam and Eve are from the lineage, was the first created. And the Bible talks about they were created from dirt. What color is dirt? Dirt comes in brown, where we do most of our farming. It comes in a reddish clay, okay, a reddish brown, which I have up here. That's the color we believe Adam and Eve were. That's what Adam means, okay? And then it comes in black. If you go into the forest and the woods, the soil there is black. That's the most richest soil. So the most richest soil on earth is black, okay? So what is he trying to tell us? If I'm creating you from the dirt, what color are you? That's from one aspect that you can look at this. But this word Adam, okay? You think the word Adam, when we read in the Bible in Genesis, we read the word Adam. That word Adam is used, in that form, it's used as human. So Adam really represents human or humanity, human. That's the real translation of that word Adam. Now, Adam is also referred to only 2 times in the Bible as Adam. Okay? In the book of Genesis, it talks about it in the beginning, and another time it makes mention, it uses the word Adam when Esau sold his birthright to his brother Jacob. Okay? When he sold his birthright, the soup that he sold, the lentil soup, was called Adam soup. That's what it was, Adam. It was a reddish brown color. And that was the color. It was referred to the color. And so here we find that in the name, he's telling us what complexion he is. And everybody knows that, the Garden of Eden was in Africa. Everybody knows that, the DNA lineage, you'll link it all the way back to a woman in Sudan. And if we check the genetic code, we look at the fossils. The fossils tell us Lucy, which is the most ancient one found down in what we call the African Great Lake region. Now, most of us probably didn't even know that there was such thing as the African Great Lake region. Yes, that's where Adam, that's where, and we're going to go through the 4 rivers and we'll see exactly of where these 4 rivers are that leave the Garden of Eden. Now that we're finished with Adam, I'm glad and hope and pray that you've been able to enjoy the study so far. And you'll be interested in going in and understanding the African Great Lake regions. And as we go and in depth even more. But at this time, we're breaking to go into prepare you for those who want to get this information and want to be part of these ebooks. I want to be part of the webinars. Please contact Dr. William Emanuel, better known as Dr. E-Man, the Electric Man, at his email address, Emanuel, Emanuel, at esnscorp.com, or visit his website, www.peopleofcolor1.com. When you visit his website, you'll see a schedule of events. Click on that, or you can check out his workshops. I invite him to your church, your organization, your community to do workshop, or join his classes that he has online and the webinars. Also, he has ebooks and books, and also he goes through 3 and 10-day cleanse programs. So please join us and become part of our team. Thank you, and we'll be looking forward to seeing you at our next study.